That evening, curiosity tugged at Julia's heart like a loose thread. As a nurse, she'd seen countless elderly patients struggle just to stand, let alone walk. And here was a 94-year-old man, light on his feet, speaking of vitamins like they were ancient magic. She returned to the park the next day, her father's recent decline weighing heavily on her heart. Liam waved excitedly as she approached. "He's over there, by the bench near the oak tree," he pointed. Harold looked up as she arrived, a gentle smile already forming. "Back so soon?" She sat beside him. "You mentioned 6 vitamins. My father, he used to be active. We went hiking once a month. Now, he barely makes it to the bathroom. I don't want to lose him like this. Please. Tell me everything." Harold nodded, as if he'd been waiting for this moment. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a tattered, leather-bound notebook. "This here has kept me company since I turned 70. I call it, the Strong Six." He flipped to a dog-eared page and pointed to each carefully handwritten entry. "Vitamin D, sunshine in a pill," he said. "Keeps bones solid as brick. Vitamin B12, keeps the engine running. Energy, nerves, even memory. Vitamin E, repairs muscle tears. Keeps you limber. Vitamin C, fights inflammation. Joint pain's worst enemy. Vitamin K, helps your body patch itself up and strengthens bones. Magnesium, prevents leg cramps. Makes every step smoother." Julia stared at the list, absorbing every word. "You get all this, just from supplements?" "Not just pills," Harold replied. "Food, sunshine, and movement. You can't just pop a tablet and hope. You have to respect your body, treat it like a friend you want to keep around." Julia felt a lump rise in her throat. In that moment, this wasn't just a list, it was a lifeline. A spark of hope. "I'll try," she said softly. "No," Harold smiled, tapping the paper. "You'll help him try. That's the real medicine." 3 weeks later, Julia returned to the park, but this time, she wasn't alone. Beside her walked her father, Edward, his steps uncertain, his face a portrait of fatigue. Once a towering man with a voice that filled every room, Ed had withered in silence, spending most of his days staring out the window. He hadn't left the house in months. But today, he asked to come. "I want to meet this Harold," he said that morning, gripping the list Julia had left on his nightstand. Harold stood near his favorite bench, eyes squinting in the sunlight. When he saw Ed, he walked forward, arms outstretched. "Now that's a face that's seen some life," Harold chuckled. Ed smiled faintly. "And some pain," he replied. "But my daughter says you have answers. Or at least, a better way." The 2 old men sat together under the willow tree, their conversation drifting between wars fought, wives loved, children raised, and years lost. There was laughter. Some tears. Mostly, there was understanding. Of what it meant to grow old and feel forgotten by your own body. After a while, Harold handed Ed the notebook. "I've seen too many people give up because they think it's too late," he said. "But it's never too late to fight back with kindness to your body. These vitamins, this movement, this mindset, it won't make you young. But it can help you feel alive again." By the time spring returned, the park had changed. Harold, once the lone old man making quiet laps around the pond, was now joined by a small but growing group. At the front of the line was Edward, Ed, walking with a steady cane, his back a little straighter, his eyes clearer than they'd been in years. And right beside him was Liam, cheerfully matching his grandfather's pace, offering water and encouragement like a miniature coach. Their trio, Harold, Ed, and Liam, became known as the Walkers. Neighbors watched from porches, seniors peeked from windows, and slowly, more joined. Some came with walkers, others with folding chairs to rest between rounds. But they came. The story spread. Julia, once skeptical, began organizing small health workshops using Harold's list. She handed out pamphlets titled The Strong Six, with smiling photos of Harold at the top. What began as a quiet friendship in the park turned into a community movement. Elders weren't just walking, they were talking, laughing, connecting. Liam, ever inspired, recorded short videos of Harold sharing stories and advice. One went viral. "I'm 94. These 6 things keep me walking." It racked up millions of views. Comments poured in from across the world. "My grandma cried watching this. My dad is trying again. Thank you, Harold. I showed this to my entire retirement home." One afternoon, as cherry blossoms danced in the breeze, Liam asked Harold, "What's the most important vitamin of all?" Harold paused, looking at Ed, smiling now, stronger than he'd been in years. Then at Julia and the crowd gathering by the pond. He looked at Liam with misty eyes and said softly, "Hope. You can't buy it. You can't bottle it. But once you share it, it grows stronger in everyone." That day, they didn't just walk, they celebrated. Not just the steps, but the journey. The healing. The reminder that no matter your age, you're never too old to stand tall, take a step, and inspire the world behind you. Months passed, and summer gave way to golden autumn. The trees in the park wore shades of amber and crimson, and so did the stories of those who walked beneath them. Harold still arrived every morning, now using a wooden walking stick Liam had carved himself. His steps were slower, but his eyes sparkled with the same light. One Sunday morning, as Liam jogged ahead to greet others, Harold sat quietly beside Ed, watching the sunlight filter through the leaves. "I think I've done my part," Harold said quietly. Ed turned to him, a hint of worry in his expression. "What do you mean?" "I'm tired," Harold admitted with a soft chuckle. "But not sad. Just, full. Like a book that's finished its last chapter." Ed placed a firm hand on Harold's shoulder. "Then know this, you didn't just walk through this life. You led a path for others to follow." A few weeks later, Harold passed peacefully in his sleep. The town mourned. Flags flew at half-mast at the park. Flowers lined the bench under the willow tree where Harold had shared wisdom with strangers who became family. But his story didn't end there. Julia created the Harold Foundation, a program that distributed vitamin kits, walking sticks, and wellness guides to seniors in rural and underserved communities. Liam gave speeches at schools and retirement homes, sharing Harold's message of strength, hope, and simple daily care. And every year, on Harold's birthday, the community gathered for Harold's Walk, a quiet procession through the park, ending at his favorite bench beneath the willow tree. There, new walkers were given a strong 6 list, and a simple quote engraved into the bench. "Hope activates everything." Through Harold's legacy, thousands found strength in their bodies, and more importantly, in their spirits. Because one man believed that aging didn't mean giving up. It meant giving back.